I know a lot of people out there that would have spaghetti bolognese at least once a week, but this is my pasta. This is a pasta that I like to have at least once a week, and the reason I love it is because most of the ingredients live in my pantry, so I can have it without going to the supermarket to get ingredients. It takes 15 minutes to make, and the basis of it is a combination of canned tomatoes and tuna. Now, I'm just chopping some garlic here. This was 4 little cloves of garlic, or 2 large cloves of garlic, and some anchovies. Now, before you start going, ooh, anchovies, the anchovies are going to make this meaty. Once you've finally chopped the anchovies and the garlic together, this goes into a large saute pan. Now, I've given myself lots of room here because the sauce is not going to take up most of the space in here. It's when I put the pasta in, and I want to be able to toss the pasta nicely and liberally in here so it's coated in this sauce. I don't want this to be too hot at the beginning because I don't want to burn the garlic and the anchovies. I want the anchovies to slowly melt along with the garlic so it just starts to become golden brown. Now, I'm just using the back of a fork there just to start melting those anchovies and infusing that oil with the garlic and anchovies. And I'll also add some chili flakes to this. Now, if you've got fresh chili, of course you can use that too, and that can go in. And have a pot of boiling water ready to go also. Now I'm going to add some capers, and these are going to start to become quite crunchy. I'm going to open a can of tomatoes. I like to use the whole peeled tomatoes for this recipe. I like to crush them myself in the sauce. In my book, I call for 600 grams of tomatoes. Now, this is 400 grams, so ideally I'd like you to use 1.5 cans to make sure there's enough sauce for a whole 500 grams of pasta. I'm just making a smaller amount today, and it already starts to smell so good. So now these tomatoes have cooked down a little bit, so I can add the tuna, and again, just flaking it in, and with the fork again, break it down. And that's the sauce. I'm going to add a few little things right at the end when the pasta is cooked. But for now, I just allow this to bubble away for about 5 minutes, which gives me just enough time to boil my pasta. Now, my choice of pasta is spaghetti, and I'm just going to use half of this for today. Now, make sure you've got some rapidly boiling water with a big pinch of salt in with the pasta, and then we're just going to cook this until it's al dente. Now my sauce is looking good, my pasta is cooked, and instead of straining the pasta, I like to just scoop it straight into the tuna sauce with a little bit of the water. This starchy water is going to thicken up the sauce and emulsify this sauce a little bit more. So in with our pasta and some water, and one more scoop. Get that. And now I'm going to turn the heat off the sauce and start to mix this and agitate the pan. By agitating the pan there, we're mixing that pasta with the sauce. Now I'm going to add a pinch of salt, just a small amount because the capers are quite salty, and a big handful of parsley, and I like a big handful of rocket, and again, you do leave it to the last minute so it doesn't wilt too much. Also leave the lemon zest to the last minute, and I'm going to add a small amount. This is not in my recipe in the book, but I think it gives it a lovely touch, again, if you do have some lemon there. So zest only, I'm not using the juice. And lastly, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to grate that directly into the large pan here. I've left the heat off. Now, you don't want to put the heat on when you're using Parmesan because it will clump up together as opposed to mix nicely through it. So one last mix. And this is going to be one of the cheapest pastas you'll ever make, and there's so much flavour going in using a lot of pantry ingredients. I'm going to plate this up. You can see it's not swimming in sauce. I don't like pasta swimming in sauce. It's not necessary because I want to taste the pasta. And the tuna there, just to crown it. And a very small amount of Parmesan just to finish it off. Just rain it over the top. Voila, pasta in 15 minutes. When you are so busy like I am, this is something I look forward to coming home. Whether I've got a little kitchen or a large kitchen, you can make this for one person, two people, or you can make it for 20 people. Everyone is going to be satisfied with this very simple, economical pasta.